Am I the asshole for telling friends and family I'm broke when they need money? I, 50M, had several instances in my 20s where friends and family members borrowed money from me. They either never paid it back, or I had to really pressure them for the money. Problem is everyone knew I make decent money, and knew I was a habitual saver. So when they got hard up, they'd come to me like an ATM machine. They'd be like, "Come on man, I know you got the money." Then I'd get the hard luck sob story followed by, "I'll pay you back when I get." So I opened up a new bank account. I only put $20 in savings, the minimum required by this bank. Then I'd put enough in the checking for bills, groceries, and spend it that day, so that account only had a few bucks left. When folks would hit me up for money, I'd be like, "Sorry, I'd like to help you out, but money's tight right now." They'd call bullshit, and I'd log into that account and show them. They'd go away all dejected. After a few years of this, people started asking where my money went. Obviously, I'm not going to tell them the truth, savings, HYSA, investments. So I'd say beer, or strip club, or casino. And not only did they believe me, because that's what they did, but by the 2010s they were lecturing me about not wasting my money, rolling on the floor laughing. Anyway, in the 2010s I got married, and filled my wife in on the situation. She thought it was funny. Anyway, my sister came over for Halloween, and made some comment about how glad she was that I'd learned to be more responsible with money. My wife started laughing and spilled the beans. My sister confronted me, and I confirmed it was true. Then I told her I wasn't 20 anymore, and if she hit me up for money the answer was no. She told the rest of the family. Some think it's hilarious, but others think I'm a tight-wadded asshole. Some have asked me how much I have, and I tell them, none of your business. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole, but your sister is for telling everyone. Now Opie also knows not to tell his wife family secrets. Not the asshole. Funny how many learned to survive without your help. Not the asshole, and you've learned a valuable lesson to tell your family and friends to MYOB. Personally, I would drop people that were always hitting me up for money. Then I told her I wasn't 20 anymore, and if she hit me up for money the answer was no. You are right, we pay a lot in your 20s to learn hard lesson. Not the asshole, and the other comments saying you are wishy-washy or lying acting as if every young adults are all moral and know how to react perfectly in every situation. Not the asshole, and I would laugh at their face too. Not the asshole. It's not your responsibility to bankroll them. It's hilarious. Am I the asshole for letting my stepdaughter's mom stay in our guest suite, and not my sister? Carrie, 15 female, is my stepdaughter from my marriage to Sam, 41 male. We've been together for 8 years. Her mom, and is still in the picture but is constantly traveling and only gets to stop in town for short bits of time. Because of this, Sam, and I think it's important to let them have as much time together as they can. She has stayed with us in the past in our guest suite. It's not as big as it sounds, and it's always worked out okay. My sister Rachel wants to come for Christmas, and I said it will be a tight fit, but if she can take a couch or air mattress she can. She is upset and said she should have the guest suite. I said and will be here. The last time Carrie and were able to spend Christmas together was when Carrie was 10. Of course Rachel is upset because she can't do a hotel or anything. And she's taking it out on me and is saying all kinds of stuff designed to get me worked up about what could happen when I go to sleep and Sam and reconnect. For the record, I have nothing to worry about, and even if they did have a moment or something I wouldn't really care. Rachel is saying that she might as well not come if she's stuck on the couch, which I really think is dramatic. So I'm asking Reddit, haha. Should my sister get the guest suite instead of Anne? Am I the asshole for giving it to the stepmom instead of my own sister? Not the asshole. It sounds like you and your husband have a healthy and supportive relationship with reasonable boundaries. Your sister sounds like a chaos goblin. Let mom and daughter enjoy Christmas. Tell sis to stay home and watch Gremlins. Not the asshole. I'd rescind the offer to stay on the couch or air mattress. If she's going to suggest your husband will cheat on you in your own home, she doesn't get to stay. Prioritizing the mother of your stepchild in this scenario is entirely appropriate. Not the asshole, you sound like a great stepmom. Not the asshole. I think it's lovely how you prioritize a healthy relationship between the mom and the child. You're a good stepmom. You gave your sister the option of what was feasible, and all she did was stir the pot. Who confirmed travel/visiting first. You aren't a hotel, but the idea of first come first serve applies here. As it sounds like sister still hasn't confirmed, then why on earth would you knock someone out of a room? Not the asshole. not the asshole. It's your house, and letting your stepdaughter have Christmas with her mom is the right call. Your sister's just being petty, she'll survive the couch. Am I the asshole for denying my coworker lunch? So I've been a chef for around 4 years now, working in a lot of different environments. About 6 months ago, I started in my current job, which is a private restaurant for a senior apartment complex. I'm the only chef working there 100%. Other chefs only come in when I have a day off. We serve a lunch menu between 12.00 and 13.00, and a 2-course dinner at 17.00. I start at 10.00 and finish at 18.00, so I'm pretty busy all day between prepping, serving lunch, cleaning, ordering, taking deliveries, dinner, and closing down. One of my coworkers, who's in charge of marketing, has been asking for staff food after lunch hours are finished. I always serve staff food for everyone who orders, given they order either before or during the lunch service. 3 days ago, she asked for a cinnamon bun, which was the dessert for the dinner that day. I told her no, and explained that I only make the amount needed for the guests, but that she could have one after dinner service, if there were any left. She said she only wants one if she can have it now, and pretty much left it at that. Yesterday, she came 1 hour after lunch and asked for a couple slices of bread and some salad. I told her no, because all the bread I had was frozen at the time. She then asked for a croissant, to which I informed her that all of them were sold during lunch. She proceeded to go home for the rest of the day after telling another coworker that she can't get any food here. Then today she comes into the kitchen 5 minutes after lunch, while I'm running to clean up everything, so I can start on the rest of the prep before dinner. She starts, "I'll have some eggs and bacon." I tell her, "Sorry, but lunch is over for today." She raises her voice at me and says, "Do you have something against me?" Still running to clean up, and pretty shocked I say, "Against you? No. I've been doing lunch for the last hour." She proceeds to angrily walk up to the manager and tell her about how I'm denying her lunch. Manager says I should be flexible and look for solutions instead of denying requests. I probably could have toasted some bread to defrost it on the second occurrence, but I'd already worked my ass off that day and didn't want to fix problems for people who can't follow lunch times. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I think she might need some written rules she can stick to and try to get stuff. She's been winging it, and I don't think she truly knows and understands when it's appropriate to stop by and when it is not. Obviously, you're not the asshole. While your manager is right that you could be flexible, I would still tell her no. You need to email this coworker and CC the manager, reminding her in writing that staff lunch is available as long as it's requested before or during the scheduled lunch service. Emphasize that as soon as lunch service ends, you need to immediately break down the service, clean, and begin prep for dinner. There is literally no time for you to do anything extra at that point. Giving in once is liking giving a mouse a muffin. Just don't. Have you communicated to her why you're saying no, and if she was during allotted hours the answer would be yes, or is there something in her role that makes it so she is unable to come during the stated hours? If the answer is yes and no respectively, then not the asshole. The problem is the lack of clarity. Implied doesn't cut it. Post rules on a visible spot as well as distributing to the staff so everyone knows the standard. It's your job to cook for the guests. Is it in your job description to make food for staff on request? The one thing I don't see in your post is, I have explained the rules for staff food to her. The rules for staff food are in the employee handbook, or anything else suggesting that you've told her the rules and or limits. Given that, your responses seem combative. You are the asshole for that, and for assuming that everyone knows the rules. Having said that, this is your opportunity to publish the rules, post them publicly, if you must, and announce that you're doing so to make sure that everyone gets the same treatment. Tell the manager expecting you to be flexible, that if you have to cook extra staff food outside the regular service times, you'll run behind on dinner for the residents. Good luck. Am I the asshole for not letting my fiancé's family crash over at my house? I am 27, have been with my fiancé, F32, for 7 years. I am a resident in training, but come from a financially comfortable background. My parents brought me a nice house like a year back. My fiancé works in retail, comes from a modest family, and had a very struggling childhood. I try my best to give her the best life possible, but lately what's bothering me is the fact that the new house has extra bedrooms, like 3 extra, and since we have moved in, somehow all her family members are having problems of some sort or have troubles with their own places, and she lets them stay in. I don't mind an overnight stay, but they stay for weeks, and her mother hasn't left in 4 months. Now I come home to her brother or sister chilling on the couch and watching TV, or using my PS4. Sometimes some aunt or uncle comes to visit her mother, and they stay for days. I don't speak Spanish. I don't understand much what they say and feel excluded in my own house. Whenever I try to talk it with my fiancée, she keeps repeating what struggles her family is facing and how they are important for her happiness, that every time I bring it up, she gets upset like it's my fault that they live with us or find excuses to crash at our place. I don't think I can take this anymore. Neither her family looks like they're grateful. Not the asshole. You need to stand your ground on this and set a boundary hard. This is not what you signed up for, and you deserve your peace. They are important for her happiness. What about your happiness? You never signed up to run a hostel or halfway house. Don't expect the relationship to survive, but you are being used. Not the asshole. Your fiancé is showing you what married life will be like with her. You really do marry into her family and she yours, and if this is a constant in her family's lives, that won't change when you get married. Advice equals sit your fiancé down and have a hard conversation. Ask her if she thinks this is okay, and if she thinks you have any say in whether her family stays or not. Make clear that this is not fair to you as 50% of the relationship and renter/owner. Tell her that this is not acceptable to you long term, and that it is a hard line that you guys need to come to an agreement on before you get married and not after. I promise you this won't go away with marriage. Not the asshole kick them out, and maybe her too. 2 weeks is the soft cutoff, 3 months is the hard one. If you're on 4 months, something is fundamentally wrong, and either they start paying rent and you work something out or they leave. Not the asshole. Key point, fiancé. This isn't her house. Period. My husband is bilingual, and his family speaks some English. When they come to visit, they treat me with respect, and we all do our best to be respectful. What they do not do is treat my house like an Airbnb. I get the cultural differences, but it's your house, and you need to hash out these details about guests. It's not okay for you to be an outsider in your own home. Luckily, you have realized a major cultural, nationality, and financial difference with your fiancé before you were married. You obviously love her very much, but this is not a problem to be solved. She will always want to give to her family, and you will always feel resentful and used. I make no judgment on either position. It's just your natures. If you manage to curb her generosity, she will be resentful instead. My grandparents were like you too. She was the orphan who longed to be Madame Bountiful, her husband the one who fretted that he was being taken advantage of. After 4 children, multiple affairs in both sides, and years of misery and anger, they finally divorced. Think very carefully about this marriage. Run. Fast and far. This will only get worse.